Years after the Lehman crisis in 2008, financial institutions are still feeling the pressure as more financial crimes are brought to light. Most recently, the Monetary Authority of Singapore ordered BSI Bank to cease its local operations over severe breaches of anti-money laundering regulations. As financial regulations grow ever more stringent, the increased scrutiny on financial institutions can create a tense atmosphere as companies struggle to inspect their internal practices and policies. To maintain impartiality, compliance experts act as outsiders to ensure that regulations are followed without much resistance.
Compliance functions primarily is actually at the second line of defense. If you think about compliance program, if I can suggest a simple term like ATM. It's not the automated teller machine, but it's actually what you call advisory, training, and monitoring. So sitting on the second line of defense allows you to actually do the advisory, do the training, and as well as do the monitoring aspect of the role. That actually helps strengthen the controls that the front office or the first line of defense should already have, and then you overlay that with a second line of defense, and to be supplemented subsequently with a third line of defense, which is typically the internal audit department.
The emergence of the financial technology industry brings many new regulatory challenges. When it comes to compliance, what are the differences between fintech companies and traditional financial institutions?
Perhaps 75–80% of the fintech companies coming into the scene, typically they are in the payments, money transfers, maybe a little bit of robo-advisory space. The regulators in Singapore are actually quite clever in trying to bring everybody together so that they know who is doing what, where, and when, and how are they doing it. Because if you imagine that if the regulator takes no interest, then you have small little shops of startup company trying to provide certain activities, not knowing that they're actually caught by the regulation. And the end result is that you may have customers potentially take on the service by these people and may end up losing their money or getting hit with certain things that when this company goes belly up.
One major change to the financial regulations is the criminal police powers given to MAS officers, who can now issue warrants of arrest, search, and seizure. Singapore has also implemented corporate derivative liability laws, which means that a financial institution can be charged for a criminal or civil penalty offence when one of its traders misbehaves. What do these changes mean for the financial landscape?
How do you instill good compliance culture, tone from the top? Having good policies and procedures is a good start, but the trick is how you communicate that across the entire organization so that people become instinctive in being guided by a sense of what is right. The other way to do this, of course, is to have a good set of rewards or incentive structures. Although increasingly more and more people are having a balanced scorecard. So I think having the right incentive is a good way to instill a compliance culture, because that's human nature. But I think perhaps what's lacking is a sense of proactivity and realization that you can actually take steps to instill or to embed a good set of compliance culture within the organization. You should also think about compliance culture not as something that's nebulous, but something that's actionable. In reality, there is no level of prescription, whether in regulations or in policies, that is able to foresee all future scenarios, despite the need for having sound processes or sound systems. There is no substitute for having a good compliance culture, in that people within the organization are instinctively guided by a sense of what is right and wrong.
It seems that change is the only constant. Not only do you need to be tough about compliance within your company, you also need to stay one step ahead to stay compliant. This is Glory Yim for RHT Network. If you have any feedback and comments, do connect with us here. See you soon!